What's up, y'all? It's your boy Lucas, aka Television's Hub, and today we're talking about the Walking Dead finale. Before anything else, words could not describe how shocked I was watching this finale, particularly the end bit. So something I need to cover immediately is the fact that Rick Grimes is back, baby. Now, he has definitely seen better days, and I was honestly a little surprised that he looks so rough. I was expecting him to be this big bad general in the CRM trying to find his family, but it looks like he didn't agree with what the CRM was doing, or maybe he tried to take matters into his own hands and just left to go find his family. We know Rick is a family man, so it wouldn't surprise me. He obviously doesn't look like he wants to be a part of them anymore, aside from the jacket he's repping, but that doesn't mean anything. He's rocking that jacket with a pair of beat up jeans and no shoes, which is really gross, Rick, I'm not gonna lie. The CRM helicopter comes down to get him, and he throws his pack onto a ship that is nearby, which contained the sketch of Michonne and Judith along with some of his other belongings, which explains how and why Michonne found that in the first place. Rick, you need to put those dogs away, that's all I'm saying. As the helicopter descends, a weird smile creeps across his face, which I first thought that he recognized someone in that helicopter and that's why he was smiling, but then I remembered he was Rick Grimes and he just likes to smile when he knows he's in a sucky situation. Just like when his group was surrounded by the junkyard people, which is funny enough Jadis's group. He probably smiles like that to appear strong and confident, and cause, you know, he knows he's the main character, he's gonna get out of it, let's be real. Anyways, we see a skyline in the background, which appears to be a pretty big city. And I first thought it was New York or something, but I was looking around and the consensus seems to be that it's Philadelphia. Apparently it's the same skyline from the teaser of the Rick Grimes movies that we were supposed to get, which people online had previously identified as Philadelphia. Thank you Entertainment Weekly, by the way, because I had no idea that was Philly. And maybe, this might be the conspiracy theorist in me, but maybe that's some sort of clue. Philadelphia is known as the city of brotherly love. And who does Daryl consider his brother? Rick Grimes. And that would make a lot more sense maybe if Daryl wasn't going across the world to Paris, France. Another important thing to note is that the man in the helicopter calls Rick Grimes Consignee Grimes. And since a consignee is someone who like receives something, his role in the CRM is probably someone who receives people and handles them. Whether it's people that will be used in their vicious experiments or people they're recruiting for the CRM army. But something that I can't pinpoint for sure is when this scene took place. It was definitely before season 10 because Michonne finds Rick's backpack that he throws onto the boat. It was probably somewhere in that 6-year time skip that happened in season 9 episode 5. He doesn't necessarily look that old, and in fact he looks younger than in season 9 episode 5. But I can't imagine it was more than maybe 2 or 3 years after Rick disappeared. So with all that in mind, here is my assumption. Rick got to the CRM, didn't like it, or just wanted to get back to his family, played along with them for a little while, then took his chance and escaped. He definitely built some sort of connection with them because of that line the guy in the helicopter said. He said, quote, "Like he told you, there is no escape for the living," which tells us a bit about a previous conversation between Rick and someone in the CRM, probably a higher up. But I'm still not sure what that line even means or who he is. I guess we'll have to wait till the spinoff to find out. Anyways, that's my best guess as to how Rick got there. They definitely see something in him to go and track him down like that. Well, that and the fact that the CRM probably just doesn't want their secret experiments leaking out there. But if Rick wasn't a valuable asset to him, they would have just killed him. Them tracking him down again is just a risk management factor in general. Now we need to talk about the Michonne portion of that little teaser. And she looked badass in this thing, dude. We see her sporting this badass leather suit with a type of helmet similar to a football helmet. She is seen prepping to go straight through a big horde of walkers, you know, badass Michonne style. I'm not too sure as to where she's going, and just like the Rick parts, I have absolutely no idea what the timetable is on this. I honestly think that the Michonne part could be caught up to where the show ended because she's no longer with the group that we see her about to join in her last appearance. But she is kitted out with this gear that I'm assuming she got while she was traveling with that group. She'd have been traveling with them for a little while now since she left in late season 10. You know the group, the one with King Batch, and I still can't believe he made an appearance in The Walking Dead. Getting that out of the way because I was just too excited to not talk about the Rick and Michonne part. Let's talk about the finale itself. So Rosita's death brought a lot of emotions to the finale. And honestly, I'm gonna put it in my top 5 saddest Walking Dead deaths. Maybe top 3, probably not top 3, but it's close. And seeing her hang out with Coco and just cherish those moments with her, oh my god, it made me want to cry. I think that's the whole reason they added that to the finale. With how happy the finale was, I think they needed to throw some sadness in there. And they did that with Rosita. And man, I almost broke down when I found out Eugene named his baby after Rosita. Those two, man, they're killing me, man. They're killing me. And I'd have to mention the fact that they name dropped the show in the finale.
Anyway, we got one enemy. We ain't the Walking Dead.
Some people may call it corny, but honestly, I thought the name drop was fun. No, it did not have nearly the same amount of value that it did when Rick Grimes said it in like season 5, but to me, it didn't hit. It was fun and I respect it because it was the finale, you know, you might as well, but it just didn't hit the same. And speaking of fun, the scene where they were playing the music to draw the walkers in was so badass. Then the explosion and all of the walkers melting was just insane to watch. The CGI was crazy, man. I don't know where they got the budget for that, but shout out them. And they were playing Cult of Personality, which is an absolute banger of a song, which I know from NBA 2K16. I know y'all probably know it from somewhere else. We gotta talk about the conversation with Negan and Maggie. Negan is actually showing some real and serious remorse here and is almost in tears because of his actions in the past. He genuinely does regret killing Glenn, and although he said earlier this season that if he could, he would go back and kill every single one of them at that line, I'd like to believe he wouldn't do that at this point. Obviously, Maggie is never going to be able to forgive him, but I truly believe that she doesn't hate Negan anymore, as she talks about. I think that scene where the Commonwealth made Negan and Annie kneel next to each other and Negan thought he was about to lose his pregnant wife really put it into perspective for Negan what Maggie felt that night. And at the very end, we hear the words, "We are the ones who live," uttered by a whole bunch of different characters, which is a callback to a phrase Rick said in the season 5 episode, "Try." Michonne also said it to Rick in season 7 a few times, which really reinforced its meaning. And then all the characters, well, not all of them, really just Daryl gets sent into his spinoff, riding off on his motorcycle in search of Michonne and Rick. And listen, I love Rick, but how many damn people are gonna go search for him? Might as well become a mobile group at this point. Everyone else pretty much gets wrapped up holding different positions of power in all the communities we've grown to know and love, like Ezekiel, Mercer, and Carol. And I'm wondering now how they're gonna send Negan and Maggie into their spinoff. And spinoff must extensively cover them leaving and why they did, because Maggie's gonna have to leave Herschel and Negan's gonna have to leave his pregnant wife. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, Negan's gonna have to leave his wife and kid because his wife would have had the baby by now. With the year time skip, his baby should be a few months old now. The only explanation I have as of now, and one that I've had since this spinoff was announced, is that Annie and Negan's baby were taken by the CRM and so was Herschel. And that's why Maggie and Negan team up to go save their families. Maybe it's just me, but I have serious doubt Negan and Maggie would just up and leave their families. Something would seriously have to change. Now, with all that being said, I still do have some problems with this finale. First of all, it just felt too feel good and wholesome. And I know that's a super weird complaint, and I'm not trying to be that guy, but I kinda wish more people died. Yes, they killed off Rosita, which was huge, but the only other big characters they really killed off was Luke and his girlfriend, which have not really been a part of the show for long, and literally made their first appearance in season 11 like 1 episode ago. It was a super wholesome ending, but I was honestly predicting like 4 or 5 of the main characters to die. My official predictions in my last video as far as character deaths go were Rosita, Aaron, Jerry, and Ezekiel, and Pamela, of course. And I was very surprised to learn that Pamela wasn't gonna die, but in retrospect, it makes sense. Well, 1 for 5, you know, I'll take it. That's close enough for me. Really though, that's just a small complaint. It's not that big of a deal. But I also can't be the only one that thought this episode was a bit rushed. I knew that this was gonna happen because of the slow creep towards the end of the Commonwealth arc, and I made a video talking about how the finale was gonna be terrible because of this. Now, do I think the finale was terrible? No, as I said earlier. If they would have just sped this up and wrapped up the Commonwealth arc and reserved the last couple episodes specifically for ending the show, I think we could have covered more ground and had a bit more of a satisfying ending. If that makes any sense, I just think it would have led for a more conclusive ending. Also, I loved the Rick and Michonne scenes, and don't get me wrong on this, but I wish they would have included Rick in the main story. And yes, it wouldn't have made sense because of the Rick and Michonne spin-off, and it would have kind of spoiled it, but I'm sorry, I just need Rick in the main story, man. He is the main character. And part of me thinks that all the Rick and Michonne scenes just felt like a big ad for their spin-off. An ad that I seriously enjoyed, but it would have been cool if they were at least a little bit involved in the actual ending of the show. I've been seeing probably like a 50-25-25 split when it comes to people's opinions on the ending. 50% of people think it was perfect, or at the very least a fantastic way to end the show. 25% of people think it was a good or average ending, or even a little underwhelming. And that last 25, they think it was a horrible, cliche-filled, dookie ending. Personally, I'm in that 50% that thought it was a fantastic ending. even with my minor complaints. Saying it's the best ending of all time, like I've seen some people claim, would be overrating the hell out of it, but I still loved it and it ultimately made me happy. Anyways, y'all, let me know what you thought about the finale, because everyone really does have completely different opinions on this. And make sure to subscribe for future TV show content. This is Television Sub, signing out.